Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good day and welcome to the show. Listen, I'm glad to have you guys here. Now, you know what? Well, let's open up the charts right here and take a look. This guy right here, a lot of you aren't familiar with him. He's Mo Norman, and he was one of the best golfers in the world for a long period of time. An awful lot of people followed his classic style of golf, which was different than the conventional type of golf. The stance was different. Everything was different about it. Look, here's him hitting a shot, and you can see his stance was very, least to say. Oh, let me bring the thing in so you can see his stance. I mean, it was very unconventional. That's him in a follow through on his shot, But he was incredibly good at golfing, But that's not what got him there. What got him there to be an incredibly good golfer was the way his mind worked. He fixated on golf until he mastered the game, and he did it his own way without teachers or anything telling him how. My brain is similar. In fact, I did get involved with golf when I was 30 years old. I went golfing for my first time, and I really enjoyed the sport, and I wanted to get really good at it, and I fixated on it. Well, I worked at it for a number of years, and I actually did get my handicap down to a 4. But I don't think I was ever really meant to be a golfer, and I still got my handicap down to a 4. Which is, if you know anything about golf, which is an extremely good handicap. I mean, it's getting down near a scratch golfer, But, the same thing happened. I switched subjects. I couldn't play golf anymore. My back got bad and stuff. So I moved into finance, and I became fascinated with it. And I fixated on it again, the way my mind fixates on things. And so I started analyzing the financial markets and stuff, and I found it fascinating. And so ever since I started, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, doing this YouTube channel about finance, every day I just some days I do 12 hours research. I fixate on things. I can't help it. It's just the way my mind works. I'll take a subject and I'll tear it to pieces, and I'll try to get to the bottom of what's really going on. Now, I was going through my channel. In fact, one of my viewers posted a show that they were watching, and they said, well, Glenn, you were right on the money and something. And it was a show I did that only got 200 views way back in 2017 when my channel was in its infancy. This particular channel, the Delta Report. And it only got 200 views, but I watched it this morning, and I found out that one of my calls on there, and I make an awful lot of predictions on my channels. And I've got a tremendously good track record. I mean, you could go over my videos and listen to my predictions, and I mean, I don't know, it's probably 70 or 80% or even higher of my predictions have actually come true and right on the money. Well, I'm going to play this particular show, a sample of it, from way back in 2017, when the Bitcoin price hadn't gone parabolic yet. It hadn't gone up to $20,000 yet. It was sitting right around $2,600. And on the show, I'm telling people out there, I'm saying, you could become rich. This thing is going to go parabolic, I told them. And I told them the exact amount it was going to go to, $20,000. I said it's going to go to $20,000. Now, that's a 10 times increase in their money, or maybe 9 times their money, if they hadn't listened to me. And I also told them, and when it hits 20,000, it's going to fall off, and it's going to fall. I didn't tell them exactly how far it was going to fall, but I said it was going to crash back down again. When it hit, and I even called the timing of it and everything, the exact amount it was going to go to, and when it was going to fall off. And I even gave them reasons why I thought it was going to fall off. And those reasons actually came true, not quite to the extent I thought they would come true, but the network did start to. The reason why I gave why it was going to fall off is the network was going to have to start having scaling issues. It wasn't quite, the scaling issues weren't quite to the extent I thought they would be, but my prediction was uncanny of the whole thing. So now, if you take a look at this chart right here, and what we're looking at is the timing. I made the prediction was right in here, and look at the price. the price went all the way up to $20,000. So now I'm going to tell you guys, this is just one in a long list of predictions that I've made that have come true already. Before we watch the clip, and I'm putting the clip toward the end of the show of me making the prediction back in June, I think it was June 5th or something like that, of 2017, just before Bitcoin went parabolic and went up to 20,000. If we watch that, what we're going to see is, we're going to see the clip in a minute, but what I want to tell you is what I think is going to happen with Bitcoin in the very near future. And again, just like I made that prediction, not many people saw it. Only 200 people saw it. I don't know if any of them listened. How many listened? Probably only a handful. But I'm going to make another prediction today, and before we play the clip. And this is very important because you could probably do just as well with this prediction as you did back then with that prediction. The Bitcoin price right now at 11,000 was 11,600 or 11,200 or something. It's been hovering over just over 11,000, between 11 and 12,000. That Bitcoin price is nothing compared to what Bitcoin can go to. And because Bitcoin is limited in quantity, and we got fiat currencies out there that are starting to move toward inflation really big time because they're overprinting them. This is going to continue. They can't stop that. They're going to continue to overprint these fiat currencies. What we're going to have happen is, and I think it's already actually begun, is a movement into gold and silver as a hedge against the fiat currencies. This is going to increase. This action is going to increase. I'm anticipating a market fall, a fall in the market. And then I'm anticipating the market to go down to a certain level, and then the Fed step in with massive stimulus to try to get the market back up again so that the whole system doesn't lock up and crash. When they do that, that's when I'm anticipating, when the Fed moves in with the big new stimulus, that's when I'm anticipating the gold and silver to be a mad rush into gold and silver. And gold and silver is probably going to drop during the crash in price, when the stock market crashes. So it's going to be cheap right then, but there's going to be no available physical to buy. It's going to all disappear. And then the price is going to move up rather rapidly, and everybody who has physical is not going to be willing to sell. So we got a marketplace where there is no marketplace. If there's no gold and silver available for sale, and all you can buy is SLV, and they don't want that, and all they can buy is GLD, and they don't want that, they want the physical, and there's no physical available anywhere for sale. All the people have it already, are holding it, and they're not going to let go. And there's this massive volume of money pouring in that's looking for a safe place out of the dollar. Where do you think it's going to flow into? It's going to flow into cryptocurrencies, because that's the only other door. That's the only other exit door on a gymnasium that's on fire. There's two exit doors from the dollar. Gold and silver, and that door is blocked shut because there's none for sale. And the Bitcoin door is open on the other side of the gymnasium. They're all going to rush for that one fire exit. And that's what I see coming. And I see that driving the Bitcoin price in excess of $100,000 when that day comes. And I don't think it's very far in the future. I think it's probably within the next 24 months. This will all play out. This prediction that I'm making today. You know, now I go out on a limb with these predictions. And this is a big call. But it's a big call that, I mean, it's up to you what you do with this knowledge. You know what I mean? I don't think Bitcoin cryptocurrency is going away. I think that this move, when it happens, and the cryptocurrency price goes up, let's just say to infinity, that a wealth transfer is going to start to occur. Everything in the world is priced now in fiat. Depends on what country you're in. Here, everything's priced in Canadian dollars. In America, it's priced in American dollars. You go to Germany and it's priced in the euro. You know, I almost said Deutschmark, but the euro. It might have to go back to the Deutschmark. Well, all these things are priced in these fiat currencies. Now, if the fiat currencies quite literally lose their purchasing power on a very rapid basis, and a wealth transfer occurs, you'd be amazed how quick all of these things could be priced in gold or Bitcoin. And I think there's a time coming too in the future, not too far away, when gold and Bitcoin, those two commodities, are linked together so that you can freely trade between one and the other. In other words, gold will be worth Bitcoin, and Bitcoin will be worth gold. Bitcoin will be how gold is transmitted across the internet from one place to another. And the real physical gold will be the actual, like a backing for Bitcoin. They'll work together, in other words. They're going to work as a team. I think these two are going to actually end up working as a team in the end to store all of the world's wealth in these two asset classes. So everything will be priced in gold or Bitcoin. And Bitcoin and gold will be interchangeable depending on that day's rate, exactly what the exchange rate is between gold and Bitcoin. I think we're moving toward that. We're moving toward it rapidly. Here's the clip.
But here's the thing, and you all don't like to hear a but. I think that Bitcoin is going to go, it's just beginning to go up to what it's going to go to. And the world is just beginning to start to take notice of it. Bitcoin is not in a bubble. Not in a bubble, not even close. There's not enough people that know about Bitcoin. There's not enough people investing in Bitcoin yet for it to be in a bubble. In fact, it's just beginning. It's on the ground floor. What I think is going to happen is I think that Bitcoin is going to go up to unbelievable high heights, and people are really going to start to notice it, and people are really going to start using it. A lot of people are going to pour into the space. A lot of more companies are going to pour into the space. And because the company that the creators of Bitcoin, because they're not like they're like a ragtag team. I mean, they're like they argue over everything, and they haven't really fixed the real issues. It was the first cryptocurrency, and it has a lot of issues, a lot of problems. It has a lot of transaction problems, scaling issues, and so on. So now what's going to happen when the whole world starts to notice that the price goes way up and everybody and their dog starts actually grabbing a hold of this thing and starts pushing the price up? It could honestly, if the world takes to it, it could go up 10 times from what it is right now. Seriously. And it could become an ETF and everything else. So now let's move our minds to that position in the future, right now, to where Bitcoin has become the ETF. Bitcoin has went up to, say, $20,000, and the people are all really starting to use it big time. It's still going to have these scaling issues, except all these people using the network, these new people, say 10 times as many people as on there now, is going to create 10 times the problem with scaling that they're having now. This is a no-brainer. This is what's going to happen. And these people are going to come into Bitcoin. They're going to come into the space because Bitcoin is finally it's finally becoming popular. It's finally becoming the something that everybody wants. And this is what's going to happen. It's a no-brainer at this point. It's something that's been waiting to happen. And everybody should be able to see it right now, but they can't see it. What they can't see is the fact that Bitcoin's going to grow exponentially in the next little bit because of this rise in price. And the rise in price is not going to stop, and that's going to make it all grow all the faster. And it's going to boom and surge. And what's going to happen is tremendous amount of people are going to come on the network, and they're going to exacerbate these scaling issues, and then all of a sudden, the scaling issue is going to become an issue, a real serious issue. And by that time, the price of Bitcoin is going to be really in a bubble. So you've moved yourself ahead to when Bitcoin's $20,000 now. You moved yourself ahead into the future. I don't know how long, maybe 6 months from now. Bitcoin's up to $20,000, okay? And all of a sudden, 10 times as many people pour into the network, and all of a sudden they start to really cause the network to freeze up. It just can't handle all this traffic. And the nodes are getting so that they're just too big to, because of the scaling issues, they're just getting too big to even download. Might take you 5 years to download a node, sort of thing, and what, 10 terabytes of data on a node and stuff like this. And Bitcoin starts to actually freeze up and not really work unless you send huge amounts of money in with your transaction to get it to go through the network. So we've moved ahead to that point in time. And well, Bitcoin really isn't a bubble at that point in time. What's going to happen? It'll start to drop. And when it starts to drop, it's going to drop not slowly. It's going to drop very quickly in price. Everyone and their dog then at that point will try to move their Bitcoin through the network, and the network won't be functioning, and it'll jam because everybody will try to sell. And they'll just jam the network, and they won't be able to handle all those millions of transactions that'll be pouring in at once. Because of the scaling issue, they're not capable of handling all that. Bitcoin price will plummet from, say, 20,000 to 19 to 18, 17, 16, and people will be sitting there watching in horror, in absolute shock and horror. Where's all that money going to go? I'm going to tell you exactly where it's going to go. They're not going to be able to pull that money out into U.S. dollars or into the currencies of choice, the yen or whatever. They're not going to be able to, the transfer companies and stuff, it just won't work quick enough for them. There's only one thing for them to do and only one place for them to go. They're going to have to go into the alts. What right now is called the alts. That's what they're going to have to do. When that day does come, when Bitcoin has finally reached, say, $20,000, and now you're picturing in your mind, Bitcoin is crashing from, it really is in a bubble when it gets up around 20,000, 10 times higher than it is now. And Bitcoin's crashing. That's where we're at right now. And all of these people are taking their Bitcoin and they're panicking and they're making the network freeze, the Bitcoin network freeze. They'll be moving over into the alts. So now you're asking yourself, what'll happen next? Because now the situation I've just laid out for you, if you start to think about it for a little while, you'll realize that that's what's most likely going to happen. This is the situation that this whole thing is headed toward. I'm just looking a little bit in the future and I'm saying to myself, hey, this is what'll probably happen. This is where it's headed. Bitcoin keeps going up higher and higher and higher, and after a while they're going to jump in there and make it an exchange traded fund. That's going to even drive it higher, and then it's going to lead to the network freezing, and then Bitcoin's going to crash down. So now we're to that.